Welcome to Common Core Math. This is Grade 7, Module 2, Lesson 5. The focus of this lesson is on integers and other rational numbers. We are going to look at Problem 2 from the problem set. It reads, you and your partner were playing the integer game in class. Here are the cards in both hands. Part A, find the value of each hand. Who would win based on the current scores? The score closest to 0 wins. Well, first let's figure out the value of each hand. I'll first figure out the value of my hand, and then I'll figure out the value of my partner's hand. In order to figure out the value of the hand, I have to add the cards. So let's start with my hand. I'm going to have to add -8, 6, 1, and -2. The easiest way to add the numbers is to add the negative numbers together and the positive numbers together. When you add numbers with the same signs, you add the number and keep the sign. So the value of my negative numbers, my negative cards, -8 and -2 would be -10. The value of my positive cards, +6 and +1, is +7. To find the full value of my hand, now these values have opposite signs, so I subtract the numbers, and that would be 3. And since the value of the bigger number is negative, the value of my cards would be -3. Now let's do the same thing for my partner. I have to add the numbers 9, -5, 2, and -7. Again, I will add the positive numbers together, and then I will add the negative numbers together. So the value of my partner's negative cards would be -12, -5, and -7, and the positive ones are +11. So overall, the value of my partner's hand is -1. So then the question asks, who wins? The person who's closest to 0 wins, so therefore my partner wins, because -1 is closer to 0 than -3 is. Now let's move on to part B of this question. That one reads, find the value of each hand if you discarded the -2 and selected a 5. And your partner discarded the -5 and selected a +5. Show your work. Well, let's start again with my hand. I found out in part A that the value of my hand was -3. Now it's telling me I discarded the -2. To discard means to get rid of. So I then get rid of, that means I take away the -2, but then I select a 5. That means I add on a 5. So let's find the new value of my hand. Subtracting numbers is the same as adding the opposite. So subtracting -2 is really the same as adding +2. So I have a -3, a +2, and a +5. Again, I'll add my positive numbers together and my negative numbers together. So I have -3, the positive numbers add to 7, so the value of my hand is a 4. Let's do the same thing with the change in my partner. My partner from part A had a value of 1, -1. So now it tells me that my partner discards the -5, so he takes away the -5, and then he adds on a 5. Again, subtracting -5 is the same as adding +5. So he started with a -1, he added 5, and another 5. So he started with -1, he added 10, and therefore my partner has a value of 9. Part C, use your score values from Part B to determine who would win the game now. Well, since I have a score of 4, yet my partner has a score of 9, the one that's closest to 0 wins, so based on this, I would win, because 0 is closer to 4 than it is to 9.